Well, I'm waiting for the ding, but I'm done waiting. Good morning. I'm Holly Tangway. I'm this morning's worship associate. I have a few announcements before we begin our service. A warm welcome to everyone this morning, to those of you here in person and to those watching on YouTube. Everyone is welcome here, whatever your heritage, your age, your income, your abilities, and whatever your religious beliefs. And however you choose to participate, in person or on YouTube. As a welcoming congregation, we affirm the full inclusion of people of all sexual orientations and gender identities. A very special welcome to any visitors with us this morning. If you'd like to get connected and learn more about our community life, please take a moment to fill out a yellow pew card located on the back of the seat in front of you, or sign the guest book in the vestibule. We hope you will join us for refreshments downstairs in our fellowship hall following the service, so we have a chance to connect in person. We are not providing childcare today or next Sunday, but it will resume on September 22nd. And speaking of that weekend, the art team announces that the Ben Rue opening, that's the show that is currently in our art gallery, has been changed to the 21st of September, the Saturday. Next Sunday, after the service, we will be holding a 100-mile potluck. We are highlighting local bounty by creating a delicious meal together, sourced from food produced within 100 miles of here. Food from your garden, from here on Cape Ann, or elsewhere in New England will be very welcome. You can sign up for what you are bringing at coffee hour. Our lunch program will resume in October. The next meeting of the church book group takes place on September 17th. We are reading The Covenant of Water by Abraham Verghese. This is an open group and everyone is welcome. Feel free to bring a friend as well. Again, September 17th at 3 downstairs in the Williams Room. Before we begin, if the folks watching from home would like to light a candle or chalice along with us here, please go and get one now so that we can do this ritual together in spirit. And we have a special announcement.
Hi, I'm Gail. I'm a member of this congregation, and as some of you know, we've been very active in the Cape Ann Climate Change Coalition, and there's an interfaith committee that's doing a retreat. Some of you have signed up on the 12th, this Thursday. It's an all-day retreat here at Eastern Point Retreat House. I have a few spaces left, as well as 2 scholarships left, which cover, they're $60 that cover lunch and everything. So if anybody wants to still go or wants a scholarship, please speak to me after the service. Thank you.
Good morning. Welcome, everybody, and welcome to the new church year. I'm always so tempted to get up here and say Happy New Year, but I know we'd all be a little confused. But it's wonderful to be back in our church home, as we have been every year since 1806. We are here to offer a beacon of light and hope to everyone searching, whether they were searching for an entrance to the home port back then and saw our extra tall bell tower, or if they're searching for a new religious message of hope and love. Now today we'll be offering our traditional water ceremony to symbolize our coming together again for this new year. And it's a day when we also pause to think about water and the blessing that water gives us. And we take a moment to hear from each of you and what has been important to you over the summer. And today we are doing a couple of new things with this tradition because, as I always say, we are a living tradition. Things evolve and change over time. And so today, for one thing, is that we will be offering people an opportunity to participate in a protest against the conditions in Gaza by symbolically pouring water from an empty cup to call attention to the lack of drinking water in Gaza. And then at the end of the service, we're going to take the water that we have collected outdoors, and we're going to use it to bless the new trees out on the LA. We have been so blessed by the work of the Gloucester Meeting House Foundation in renovating our historic green, and we're going to return the favor, and we're going to step outside and bless the trees as a way to say thank you. Now, I just want to add that this blessing isn't a formal dedication. All the trees have actually now been donated, and at a future point, the donors will be more formally acknowledged and the trees will be dedicated. So today is just a blessing. And then finally, I do have one sad note to share with you, and that is that one of our former members, a long-time former member, Sherry Borge, passed away back on August 22nd. And we haven't heard anything about arrangements for a service, but as soon as we know anything, we will certainly let everybody know, because I know a lot of you remember her fondly. And with that, let us deepen our hearts and our spirits for worship. We gather together this morning tenderly, like drops of dew on a leaf of grass, hopefully, like gathered raindrops in a cloud, gleefully, like water rushing in a stream to the sea, and deeply, like groundwater pulled up from a well. We gather from every direction for another year of growth and depth, another year of companionship and hope, another year of learning to love this world. We gather like the water that joins us all across creation, the water that connects us within and without, merging and flowing across the entire world. And you are welcome now to join in body or in spirit to sing our opening hymn, number 209, in the gray hymnal, "O come, you longing, thirsty souls." In the Unitarian Universalist faith tradition, we enter into worship by the simple ritual of kindling our chalice. The flame of our chalice this morning is a symbol of the warmth and brightness of all our connections. The flame lights our way back together again from our very separate lives, and it lights our way forward into this new church year of promise and possibility and renewal. As Holly lights our chalice, if you have a candle or a chalice prepared at home, please light it with us now. We take a moment now to affirm the covenant that we share with one another. Newcomers and guests, the words of our affirmation are printed in the order of service if you'd like to read along with us. In the light of truth and the warmth of love, we gather to seek, to sustain, and to share. Life is a gift for which we are grateful. We gather in community to celebrate the glories and the mysteries of this great gift. Please be seated. Each week, we light a candle to offer our hopes for peace throughout the world, here at home as well as in war-torn parts of the world. Today, our candle has many purposes. Thinking of the people in Georgia who suffered a horrific school shooting this week. Yet again, senseless deaths. And we also send our wishes for peace to the people of Sudan, who are caught up in a civil war that we hear little about, but where close to 10 million people have been displaced and famine conditions are being reported. And so today, it's the second Sunday of September, and this is traditionally what we call our in-gathering service, and it's a recognition that over the summer we travel a bit. We get to the beach, we sail, we have house guests. Boy, did some of us have house guests. And we travel far and wide. And now we return to one another and to our normal routines. So every year on this Sunday, we gather to share in a ritual of the mingling of the waters that celebrates our rejoining as a community and connecting our lives' journeys once again together. Now, the water itself, water, the sacred source of all life, serves as a symbol, of course. The water that you might have brought with you today or you will share here arrives from different places, from your homes, from a special event that had meaning for you, from travels. It might symbolize your love of the ocean or a lake or a river. It might represent a vital emotion, a moment. It could be tears of joy or tears of fear and loss. And there is a larger symbolism of the water that we will mingle here today. This small amount that you will pour joins together and blends into something larger. And that's why we call it a water communion. The ritual of pouring our waters together represents our willingness to give ourselves to something larger than ourselves. It's our willingness to pour our hopes and our talents and our needs into this faith community, which is strong enough to hold each and every one of us. So in a moment, I'll invite you forward to add your water to our bowls here. We have two bowls. We have one bowl for tap water and one bowl specifically for ocean water. More about that in a moment. And as you add your water, you're going to be invited to say a few words or a phrase or a brief explanation of what the water means to you. And we have water here in case you didn't bring any. Now there's two changes, as I mentioned. First of all, we will be taking this water outside afterwards to bless our new trees with. Instead of a postlude, you'll see that we have a recessional in the order of service. So as Steve plays the recessional for us, I will lead us out carrying the water. We will all go outside. Since we're using the water to bless the trees, obviously we have to segregate ocean water, so that's why the ocean water will go in this bowl here. We'll figure out something to do with it later. And also we are incorporating a protest, as I mentioned earlier, to offer solidarity to the people of Gaza who are denied adequate drinking water. And so if you wish to participate, you can first add your own water into the bowl, speak to tell us what it means to you, and then if you wish, you may take an empty cup and symbolically pour from the empty cup to demonstrate that there are people without adequate water. And I'm actually going to invite Susan Nicholson to come forward and demonstrate that for us first so that we all understand it. And so with that, let's begin. Susan, would you?
According to a recent report by Oxfam, since October 7th, Gazans have experienced a 94% reduction in the amount of water available to them. The World Health Organization recommends 50 to 100 liters as necessary for adequate drinking, cleaning, sanitation, and cooking. 150 to 100. By contrast, Gazans have only 4.74 liters. Now, if like me, you're more comfortable in dealing with gallons, that's about 1.25 gallons of water per day, less than the amount needed for a single toilet flush. This is not the result of a natural disaster. It's rather the result of policies and actions deliberately undertaken by one group of humans to inflict grievous harm on another group of humans. In this case, a denial of water by Israel to the Palestinians of Gaza. And while this denial is taking place far away, it's facilitated by our own government and paid for by our tax dollars, yours and mine, which gives us both the right and the responsibility to protest it. So I therefore place this empty cup in solidarity with the thirsty Palestinians of Gaza.
Thank you, Susan. And now, anybody who wishes, please come forward and add water to the bowl, speak a few words, take a cup as you're ready.
Good morning. My name's Carol Bousquet. My pronouns are she, her, hers. This water originated 34 years ago as a budding Unitarian Universalist and member of the Nashua Church. I went to my first kind of day-long workshop by the New Hampshire and Massachusetts Federation of Unitarian Universalist Women, and then collected more over the years. The bottle was bought on Main Street in Gloucester. I thought I'd share that with us.
There you go.
Hi, I'm Genevieve Dion. This water symbolizes the water of the Lake of Geneva in Switzerland. And I only can express my thankfulness of having water that was able to really refresh us and cooling us down during a very, very hot summer. We're lucky to have water. And being sorry for the people of Palestine is not even a word that can even express the hardship of those people.
The water I brought today symbolizes the waters of Lake Winnipesaukee, where I go almost every summer, and also my gratitude for the water that comes out of my tap and my hose in Gloucester and enables me to keep myself healthy and water my very thirsty garden.
So is this the, okay. And I thought, no, here. Thank you for providing the water, which I forgot. I was in Scotland this summer visiting family, and I was very impressed with their national water supplier called Scottish Water, and they're very proud of it. If you go to an airport in Scotland or a railway station, they'll have water dispensers talking about the great Scottish water that's part of their national heritage. And it's just something to think about as around the world water is more and more privatized, that this is truly, okay, Scotland's a small country, they can do this, but it's something to think about. It's important.
This water comes very indirectly from the Penobscot Bay, where Gail and I were this week, celebrating the artist Louise Nevelson and a couple of boat launches in 1944, among other things. And an empty cup is an empty cup. So there we go.
This water is a blend of Babson Reservoir, Klondike Reservoir, Goose Cove Reservoir, Bond Hill Reservoir. It's symbolic, but also it's been around for a long time. There's a finite amount of water on this planet, and it gets recycled and has been recycled for millions of years, and I have no idea what dinosaur might have had a molecule of this water pass through its life, and so it goes. Okay.
Well, I thought about it and realized it was a trick question because all water is one.
This is Gloucester water. I spent the summer in Gloucester very happily, as I do the other seasons of the year, and I'm very grateful to be in Gloucester. And I wish everyone had the same privilege. Amen.
This is water I collected this morning on my walk along the boulevard where the beautiful flowers are just so lovingly cared for. And so this is partly a tribute to those who have transformed the boulevard into such a destination for locals and out-of-towners as well. And also it's in honor of the question that I've yet to answer. Is the ocean one big, large, infinitesimally large drop of water? Or is it a bazillion little drops of water? So I pondered that a lot.
I'm going to invite you and Peter to discuss that afterwards. Thank you.
And this is for the people of Gaza, but also for all those throughout the world who don't have enough clean water.
I just want to use this water to remind us of the bountiful reservoirs we had that Jerry listed. And if you needed another reason to be concerned and be active in the climate change fight, all the reservoirs are threatened by sea level rise. Brackish water will contaminate them within 20 to 30 years, and a hurricane will blow a lot of salt into them, and we will be in a big crisis. So please be active. And then as I pour the water for the Gazans, I just add a prayer that our government will finally have the guts to use the leverage they have over Israel.
I was inspired to come up front and participate in this today by Peter's remark that all water is in some sense, all water on earth is in some sense one body of water that cycles through. And this reminded me that of an experience that I had visiting First Mesa in Arizona, where a Hopi Indian told me that they being the people of that town, send missions to the ocean bearing water from their spring and throwing it in the ocean. And I thought, well, perhaps some of this water that we have here, the ocean water in particular, might have had some drops that once rained down on First Mesa in Arizona and was brought to the ocean by those people.
So which is the ocean water?
That's the ocean water.
The ocean water.
So, and this is tap water.
So I'm going to put a little tap water in the ocean.
Okay. Carl's putting some tap water in with the ocean water.
This summer I've done a lot of sailing, as I like to do, and during the year I've seen astonishing sights, including closing in on Provincetown, a horizon just popping with white water that were dolphins leaping and frolicking in front of me. I had hundreds of them. Also coming back to Salem one day, we were accompanied by a minke whale that reached near us and finally came right up behind our boat and spent maybe 10 minutes following us. It was obviously having a great time with us. And so I'm thinking about all the creatures that along with us depend on water and hoping that they continue to have the clean water that they need. So I can put fresh water and ocean water maybe. And for Gaza.
I brought water. It's not from far, just over the bridge and down the road a bit in Beverly. I moved there this summer to be near family, and I'm so glad I did, except I don't like to leave Gloucester, but it really isn't far. Let's see, here we go, that one. And this one is just heartbreaking. I don't understand our country's insanity.
Oh, all about the Palestine. Where I was this summer doesn't really matter to me. And this is Palestinians need water and also a place to live that's safe. So.
Ocean water?
This is all tap water.
So this water is dedicated and symbolizes... Oh. So fishermen need water, and local fishermen need cold water. And the North Atlantic, right off our coast, is warming faster than any water in the world. This is for local fishermen.
This water is symbolic of the water that woke my wife and I up at 3 in the morning when the water heater 2 floors above us exploded and soaked our ceilings and floors and walls, which led to a reconstruction of our condominium, which was actually quite beautiful, and we're thankful of that. So the evil water became beautiful water, and we're very appreciative of that. As someone who was born into a Jewish family, I have great shame at what's going on in Israel. I was taught growing up that Yiddish was never spoken by people in power, and that turned out, of course, to be extremely inaccurate, because the people in power in Israel are doing things that were once done to the Jews in Germany and throughout history. A deep shame about all of that, and I only wish we could stop it.
I'm going to just add a little bit more to symbolize all that is being held here in the room that has not been spoken of. I know there's some great joy. I know there's some great sorrow. And so, blessings on all of you and your lives and our lives together. I know.
In a moment, we will offer a blessing for the water we have provided. After we do the blessing, I am going to take the bowl of water that we have mingled and take it out and put it in 2 pitchers so that Reverend Janet and I can carry those pitchers outside for the blessing of the trees. So we will now offer a blessing for the water we have provided. The refrain for you to say after each short line that I say is, Bless the water. Bless us with the water. Water is life. We give thanks for clean water to drink, water that sustains our life. Bless the water. Bless us with the water. Water is the beginning, mystery of our past, the void, the deep, the primordial sea in the stories of life's beginning. We honor our own sacred beginnings.
Bless the water. Bless us with the water.
Water is change, the river we cross on the way to new life.
Bless the water. Bless us with the water.
Water is blessing in community. We remember ancestors who were gathered for rituals at the water's edge. We turn toward one another in our search for meaning, truth, and wonder.
Bless the water. Bless us with the water. I invite us now into a time of prayer to be followed by silent meditation. Spirit of life, source of all. Today we give thanks for the great blessing of our church community, for family connections and for caring friends, for the gift of belonging and the ties that join us. We each arrive here carrying burdens, losses, and grief. We have times in our lives when we must struggle alone, when the weight seems too heavy to carry. We give thanks for the compassion and the open hearts of others who are willing to share heavy loads with us, and for this community that offers companionship and hope. But even now, in our gratitude, our thoughts turn to crises in the larger community. We were shaken this week here in Gloucester at reports of violence among local youths and the possibility of a hate crime committed against a vulnerable youth. And then days later, we learned of yet another deadly school shooting, this time in Georgia. And we mourn with the families who have senselessly lost loved ones. We also pray for our young people who are subjected to the daily fear for their safety. Our country is not protecting our children, and we pray for the children who are paying such a huge price. In these tumultuous times, we ask that we may be of service both to one another here and in the wider world as well, a world that needs our courage, our commitment, and our love. We ask that our hearts be opened to all those who we hold close, that they and we will find peace and comfort. All this we ask in your name, which we know is love. And we'll pause now in silence to make room for the feelings that have no words. Amen.
This morning's reading is an excerpt from In Praise of Water by John O'Donohue. Let us bless the grace of water, the imagination of the primeval ocean, where the first forms of life stirred, the courage of a river to continue belief in the slow fall of ground, always falling farther toward the unseen ocean. Tides stirred by the eros of the moon draw from that permanent restlessness perfect waves that languidly rise and pleat in gradual forms of aquamarine to offer every last tear of delight at the altar of stillness inland. And the rain in the night, driven by the loneliness of the wind, to perforate the darkness and drop its weight of longing into the earth and anchor. Let us bless the humility of water, always willing to take the shape of whatever otherness holds it. The buoyancy of water, stronger than the deadening downward drag of gravity. The innocence of water, flowing forth without thought of what awaits it. The refreshment of water, dissolving the crystals of thirst. Water, voice of grief, cry of love in the flowing tear. Water, vehicle and idiom of all the inner voyaging that keeps us alive. Blessed be water, our first mother.
Each week we gather in the sanctuary to sustain and to be sustained by our community of faith, to share, to explore, to celebrate, and to mourn together. We carry the work of the church beyond these walls as well by offering all of our different gifts in service to the wider world. Our congregation is one of 1,000 Unitarian Universalist member congregations, each entirely self-supporting, each offering its unique gifts. And so to support this community of caring and all of its work in the world, this morning's offering will now be gratefully received. Blessings on the givers and on your gifts. There are so many ways to talk about water, to think about water. We often consider water as a wellspring, as a source, a still pool that grounds us. But water can also be a river, flowing, ever-changing, never the same from one instant to the next, and inviting us to come along and journey with it. There is the mystery of fog suddenly enveloping us and just as suddenly receding. And of course, the sudden arrival of rain, a few drops at first, and then a drenching. And the ocean, restless, inspiring, and intimidating. Water, life-giving, and yet also life-taking. We can die without water, and water, too much water, can destroy as well, as we heard a few minutes ago. We don't often think about water as a blessing, and of course, then there's water's role in offering blessings. Let's think about that for a moment. All of us who have been baptized in a religious ceremony have been blessed with water. In many traditions, including our own, we use water in child dedication ceremonies. And in a few minutes, we will use water to bless our new trees. Now, water is used to convey a blessing, and water itself is blessed. A few minutes ago, we together blessed the water that we collected to symbolize the joining together of our religious community. Our Catholic friends use holy water, sanctified, for use in numerous ways and in numerous blessings. And so water is both a blessing and it is blessed. That leads us to the question, what makes something blessed or holy? Is it the words we say? And who can do it? You'll remember that we blessed our water together, and that in fact it was our worship associate, Holly, who led the litany of blessing, not the ordained person. So did it work? Yes, it worked. And I'll share my theology of blessing with you, why I believe that, yes, the blessing worked. To begin with, the act of our gathering together here this morning and participating in a ritual together, either sharing water that we brought from an important place or water that we provided here, blessed our water. You and I and Holly blessed it by thinking about the water, holding it, and taking the time to recognize and acknowledge the value of it. We saw and felt the water. In that moment, by not taking the water for granted, we recognized the inherent holiness present in the water. My beliefs tell me that everything is part of the creation, and so it contains within it something of the divine, a spark, a breath, some of the life force that surrounds us and nurtures us. The water, then, is already holy. But the act of blessing awakens us to that holiness. We think of the water with gratitude. And so the water is blessed by our appreciation and our thanks. Marilyn Robinson, in her novel Gilead, quoted an elderly minister who explained blessing this way. There is a reality in blessing, he said. It doesn't enhance sacredness, but it acknowledges it. And there is a power in that. Think of how we all bless this place. And you hear me refer to this sanctuary as sacred, but what makes it sacred? We love the old wood and the design and all the objects here that live here. But what makes it sacred is the presence over hundreds of years now of all the people who have entered, who have sung and prayed and laughed and cried together. Thousands of people have blessed this space with their presence, as you are all doing right now. Our allée, equally old but suddenly brand new, has also been blessed this summer by the hundreds of people coming to the Friday night concerts, by all the workers and the neighbors who crisscross this space every day. And so today we will pause to bless the trees, to express our gratitude for them and to wish them well, that they might grow and live long and healthy lives. So a blessing is both a recognition, a way of giving thanks, but it is also a way to wish someone or something well. I see you, we say when we bless someone or something. I see you, and I wish you well. One of my final classes in seminary was taught by an older colleague who had been serving as a UU minister for over 30 years. He had, as you can imagine, a great deal of wisdom to impart. And one day he talked about what exactly it is that a minister does. And of course, there are very many answers to that question. But Stephen emphasized one thing that day, that for him, one of the most important things that a minister does is to offer blessings, to wish you well, to tell you that you are seen and cared for. Maybe you've noticed over the years that I always offer the benediction at the end of services. I don't share that, because I took Stephen's words to heart that day, and I have never forgotten. And someday, when I leave here, it will be the last service that I offer you. But for today, let's bless our beautiful new trees. Once we're done with the trees on the allée, if we have any left, we can take them out back to our new young maples out in back of the church. But let's not stop there. I invite you to go forth from here understanding that you, each of you, has the power to bless everything that calls to you. Our food, the water we drink, our homes and our loved ones, the whole world. And so may you go forth and live lives of blessing. Blessed be. Amen. I invite us to say together the words of the unison prayer that are printed in your order of service. Eternal wellspring of peace, may we be drenched with the longing for peace, that we may give ourselves over as the earth to the rain, to the dew, until peace overflows our lives, as living waters overflow the seas. Our closing hymn is in the turquoise hymnal numbered 1007, There's a River Flowing in My Soul.
Soul.
As we get ready to go outside, I offer you a loving kindness prayer from the Buddhist tradition. May you feel safe and protected. May you feel peaceful and happy. May you be healthy and strong. May you love and be loved. And may you be at ease in everything that you do. Amen. Those of you watching from home to extinguish your candle or chalice as we extinguish our chalice here and say these words together. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. And now, let's head outside and bless some trees.